time for a new segment. This is Guest Geeks, and today do we have for a guest geek? It is Caleb Soderbergh. Yes, we finally have a ginger. It's amazing. Today, Caleb is going to talk about the card game Munchkin. Caleb, tell me, what is Munchkin?
Munchkin is not like a collectible card game such as Pokemon or Magic the Gathering where you actually have to build your deck and actually have like the optimum cards that you want to play with. Munchkin it works sort of like a board game, but with cards. It's kind of hard to explain, but instead of having, like, for example, if you play Dungeons and Dragons, you might know that it's all in the imagination and all you have is like a single piece of paper.
That's a good one, all in the imagination.
Munchkin is a lot like that, but instead of actually imagining it in your mind, you have cards that will show you what something looks like. So works a lot like Dungeons and Dragons, but what Munchkin strives to do is the complete parody and farce of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. So explain the mechanics. Why did you get... No, actually, first tell me, how did you find this game?
Well, I was roaming around in my local library, and I found a book that said A Munchkin's Guide to Power Gaming. I'm like, this is... What is power gaming and what is a munchkin? So I read the book, and basically it was a book of how to cheese and cheat and just manipulate games in general. Doesn't matter what kind of game it is, but just to be the most, proverbial, nutcase in like everything that you do. So I'm like, this is interesting. And the person that wrote it was called Steve Jackson, and I don't know if that's his real name or not, but that's what his company's called. So I went on the website, I checked out all their other stuff, and lo and behold, there was this card game Munchkin. I'm like, what better card game to pick up than something that's named Munchkin? You had to cheat your way through things. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's check it out. So I got a set with my brother, and we played it for the first time, and it's a complete parody. Like, it's just so funny. Like, every single card is either something, like, the picture is really funny, or the name's really funny, or it's a pun, or, just whatever.
Tell me more about the cards. Let's show us some of these cards. We're gonna put some pictures on the screen of the cards when we talk about them. So talk about some of the cards, Caleb. We'll put them up on the screen. Just tell me tell me what this is about. This is wild.
Okay, so when you play the game, when you draw a card, it could be a monster, and with all of your bonuses, all your weapons, all that kind of stuff, you go into battle. And for example,
this is one-on-one, like you and I were playing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. If Shane and I were playing, I would draw a card, and if it was a monster, I would be fighting it. But something else comes into play.
Ooh.
If Shane wanted something out of this, he could say, Caleb, I want your help to defeat this monster. I will help you for. But I'll help you, but what will you give me? And I'll be like, well, I could give you one item. I could trade you something. And Shane's like, okay, well, let's do that. So Shane would help me in combat, and if we defeat the monster, then yeah, we defeat it and we get its treasure and levels. I'll explain that later. But generally, if you want to be devious about it, Shane cannot help me. And he can throw in cards that will hinder me instead. He'll be like, oh, this monster is an extra +5, or guess what? I'm going to add another monster. So now you're fighting 2 monsters, Caleb.
Could this be more than 2 players?
Yep, it's generally you're not supposed to play with just 2 players. 3, 4, or 5 is the ideal amount. Like, I play with my family, and we all love the game, so it's not very hard to find like 4 or 5
So are you like forming alliances with people like oh, let's make this harder for him, and let's make this hard for him, but we're gonna help each other with monsters?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
But the whole point of Munchkin is that you can backstab your friends at any time.
Anytime.
So even though you have this secret alliance, you can turn on them and say, I wish I could help you defeat that monster, but hey, I'm gonna have you die instead. You just be super mean and cruel about it.
I'm already loving this game. But start showing me some of it.
Okay, so here's one example of a monster. Should I hold up to the camera?
No, don't worry about that. We're gonna put it on screen later.
Okay, so this one is level 6, Big Fat Hairy Dale.
Big Fat Hairy Dale, a munchkin not of your party. Slay him. Bad stuff. He takes your dice. Next time you need to roll a die, the person to your left just tells you what to roll. What?
So
he's level 6.
He's level 6. So
look how he looks. He looks so ridiculous. Look at him on the screen. He looks ridiculous.
He looks like the stereotypical gamer dude.
Yeah.
He's got a tie-dyed shirt and everything.
When I used to go to the Grid in Manchester to play Magic the Gathering, this is the dude I saw. Big fat hairy dude right here. This is the dude sitting there.
Yeah. If your bonuses is not higher than 6, you have to roll to run away, and that's a whole other mechanic. But sometimes the bad stuff will happen. In this case, next time you roll a dice, the person to your left tells you what you roll. So let's say you want to get a high roll on something, like for example, some effect happens and you have to roll a dice, and the higher you roll, the better you do. If this bad stuff happens, the player to my left will say, "Oh no, you rolled a 1 instead." That means like you'll lose something, So bad stuff is always it's always a negative effect.
Okay.
Yeah. And next, I have a level 20 plutonium dragon.
Ooh, a deadly plutonium dragon. Ooh, will not pursue anyone of level 5 or below. Bad stuff. You are roasted and eaten. You are dead. Wow, this is epic. That dragon that's an epic drawing. I can't, there's no way I could draw that well. I'm astonished.
So this guy is one of the toughest monsters in the game, and
I love the picture. That picture's ridiculous.
No, don't worry. I have so many more pictures that I could show you. But on the bottom here it says 2 levels and 5 treasures. So this entire game is based on its winning mechanic is completely based on levels. So for example, when you kill a monster or you have a card that says something, go up a level.
How do you kill a monster? So there's die, right? You say.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So what's a standard turn play out like?
Okay, standard turn. So for when it's your turn, the first thing you'll do is just range your cards, make sure you have all your weapons equipped, you have everything situated, and then you draw your first door card, which is what the monsters and other things are.
That'd be like your deck in Magic the Gathering?
Yep, absolutely. And you would draw that, and if it's like, for example, a monster, you would fight the monster immediately with all your bonuses. You can ask other people for help, people can screw you over, whatever.
But so you're starting with though a core group of cards.
Yep.
Like how are those cards dealt to you? Are they at random?
Well, I'm getting to that.
Oh.
So when you defeat a monster, for example, this plutonium dragon, you get 2 levels, which moves you up 2 spaces, and then the 5 treasures. There's a separate treasure deck.
Ah.
Yes. So whenever you defeat a monster, you draw cards from that treasure deck. For example, he gives you 5, so you draw 5 cards, and those cards can be anything from weapons, armor, gear, other bonuses, other things that you can use to your advantage during the game. So that's how you accrue your gear, is by slaying monsters and other types
Man, we
of
need to get the rest of the Geeks crew here to play one of these games.
That would be an amazing show. I would definitely show up for that.
I'll have to talk to Jacob and Joey, see what's going on there.
Yeah. So for example, some other cards for items, there's the Boots of Butt Kicking. Death from Below, and it's got some spikes on it, some nasty spikes, which makes it even more hilarious because they're boots of butt kicking.
Right, obviously.
What's going to happen when you kick a butt?
It's ridiculous. Why is it 400 gold pieces?
Okay, so the 400 gold pieces is another mechanic in the game where, let's say you have a whole bunch of worthless items that you don't need or you don't want. You don't want to give them to other players because that will give the other players an advantage as well. If you have 1,000 gold pieces worth of items, you can sell those, basically just discard them, and you go up another level. So we're going to get 1 step closer to victory.
So it's always only 1,000 gold pieces?
Yep.
Okay.
You can do 2,000, which will put you up 2 levels,
right.
But you have to have at least 1,000.
So the gold otherwise is worthless unless you have 1,000?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And then another one, because we just had a holiday recently, the Scary Helmet.
Ooh!
Which is just a pumpkin on someone's head. It's not very important.
Check out our Halloween special spectacular. That was episode 21. We get dressed up. It's crazy, and we have pumpkins on the set.
Nice plug.
You know how to do.
And next, the final... I love this card so much. The Chainsaw of Bloody Dismemberment.
Oh, man. Two hands big? What is that for?
So, physically... most people have 2 hands.
Most people.
Most people.
Octopus people don't, but that's...
No, of course not. That's a whole different game.
Right.
In Munchkin, you can have 2 hands worth of items. You can have 2 one-hand weapons, or you can have 1 two-handed weapon.
Okay.
So you kind of want to weigh up, do I want to use these 2 items, or 1 two-handed item? You know what I'm saying? And also on the bottom of the card, it says big. You can only have 1 big item total. So you can't have 2 big items. If you do, you have to trade it or sell it or whatever. You can only have 1 because obviously not all of us have huge muscles. So you can't have 1 big item.
Anything else you want to say about this game? Sum up the game and your experiences playing it. Like you're having it. Like how often do you play this game? I mean, how much are you into this? I mean, Caleb here, he came to me with this idea. I mean, we're starting this Geek Guest segment, and there's a number of people that are interested in being on. If you're interested in being on, comment on YouTube, comment below, comment on Facebook, let us know. You could be on the show. We're in the Willimantic area. Caleb, you brought this to me as something you wanted to talk about, so you enjoy it a lot.
I'm very passionate about this game.
How often do you play it?
Well, ever since school started, not that often because I've been busy with school and homework and all sorts of stuff. But in my free time, whenever my family's available or my friends are, I say, hey, let's go play Munchkin. When
you say your family, are you talking about like your mom and dad?
My dad loves this game. I'm not even kidding. My family loves this game so much, so much so we've spent over $200 total on Munchkin supplement cards and other decks. Munchkin is not just Dungeons and Dragons themed. There's space one. There's a kung fu one. Pirates, fairy princesses, all sorts.
They got Vikings.
Oh yeah. one of the cards is a Viking duck, and if you get the Viking duck, it's you should know better than to pick up a Viking duck in a longboat, and you lose levels.
Oh,
yeah, it's crazy. It's cards.
It's so random.
I know, but it's just a great game I love to play. I usually play, probably once a week if I can find the time. We try to switch it up. We don't play this with the same deck or same sets every single time. We switch it over. So we play.
Are you supposed to Are they self-contained? Can you mix the space and the other ones together?
Yep. They actually do encourage that just for some smash up, some new game modes you want to do. But if you do that, you have to make sure that everything's balanced because, for example, the different sets have different rules. It's the same Munchkin rules, but they have different items or something that doesn't match with, let's say, this Dungeons and Dragons themed one.
Okay.
So you have to pick and choose cards to make sure it's all balanced, because otherwise you're going to totally disrupt the flow of the game.
Because someone would get a card that does that for those rest of the cards doesn't really work well. That it's too powerful or
Correct.
something.
Correct. So you have to kind of pick and choose, but the possibilities are endless. You could combine 3 or 4 different sets if you wanted. You could do zombies, space, pirates.
Zombies, of course. Of course. You could have zombie space pirates, which are the most epic thing ever.
I would be a zombie space pirate if I was not a human.
Yes. Obviously. So, Caleb Soderberg, it's been great having you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is our new Geek Guest segment. We might have Caleb back. We need a ginger on the show. It's required for a geek show. Anyways, this has been Geeks at the Movies, and we'll talk to you later.
See you guys.